All right, hello everyone. In this lecture, I'm going to teach you how I was able to create this food flyer for Alexa's Kitchen. This is a digital flyer, right? A flyer that you can post on Instagram, on Facebook, or send to somebody via WhatsApp. All right, so I'm creating this flyer on the canva.com website. Okay, so I'm creating the flyer on canva.com website. So firstly, I'm going to create a new canvas. All right, then so after creating a new canvas, what I do is come to photos. So when creating a new flyer, you have to work on your background first. There are different ways to work on the background, but in this lecture, I'm going to teach you just one way, and this is the simplest of all. So I already have an idea of what I'm to create in my head, so I'm just going to be working with a black wooden background. Remember to always have your keywords. Your keywords are very important. All right, so I'm going to search for a black wooden background that I would love to use. So I'm just going to keep searching and searching till I find one that I am comfortable with. All right, so you can see that there are so many types of wooden backgrounds to use. At the end of the day, when you see me after I've created my background, you see that you must have seen this in a lot of flyers, and you must have been wondering how they're able to get this background looking like that. If you are creating a logo, you can use a plain color, but for flyer, your background has to be catchy to give your flyer some extra effects. All right, so I have placed my wooden background on the canvas, and now I am just going to resize it, and then I'm going to lock it. So you can see the way I've locked it. I clicked on the three buttons, and then I selected the lock feature. All right, so now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to coat or cover the wooden background with a black square. All right, but you can see now, so it's the use of photos and elements together to give your background some extra effect, as you can see me doing now. So now I've come to the element section, and I chose a square shape. Now it's in the color red, but I'm just going to edit it and put another color. Okay, I'm going to change the color to a black, and then coat it to cover the wooden black background that I have. All right, so I'm going to make it cover the wooden black background that I have, as you can see that I have done now. Now this color is looking all black with no extra effects. The next thing that I want to do now is to reduce the transparency. You can see that I have done this now to reduce the transparency. So when you look at this background, you can see a little bit of the wooden background. You can see a little bit of the wooden black behind, but it is not so sharp. That was the effect of using the transparency. As you can see, if I had told you that that was how I created the background for that flyer, I'm sure you would not have thought about it, but this is the way it is done. All right, so the next thing that I want to do now is to put in my text, the words that I want to use for this flyer. All right, so we're talking about a kitchen. We're trying to make a digital flyer for a kitchen, and we're specifically trying to advertise a particular package, which is the spicy jollof rice. All right, so I've created my text using the had a heading. All right, so I will now type in the text I want to use, but before then, all right, so I'm going to use the element. Okay, so in the after doing the background, there are some other special effects that you want to add to make your text pop. All right, so make your text pop up so it does not look shabby compared to the background you have created. So for this, I'm going to make the middle of this background a little bit lighter, and I'm going to use the light beam. All right, I clicked on element, and I've chosen a light beam. I selected a light beam, and I'm just going to duplicate it and then flip it. All right, I'm going to flip it vertically. You saw how I did this. All right, to make sure that the middle of this background is illuminated. Okay, so this light beam is still too bright. It is coming out too much. It is just very obvious that that is a light beam right there. So I'm going to reduce the transparency. All right, I'm just going to take the transparency back a little bit, reduce it in number. All right, so I've reduced the transparency now. So the next thing I want to do is to lock both of them. All right, group them and lock them, so that when I'm designing, I don't keep shifting it I don't keep touching it and then I'm having issues with editing other things. All right, so I've locked both the black wooden background, the black square, the light beam, and yeah, both light beams. I've locked them so I do not have issues when editing other things. All right, so the next thing, now we're coming back to our text. I'm going to create a new text for spicy jollof rice. All right, so I'm just going to write out spicy. All right, and then this is looking very small. It's not obvious what is there, so you can see why I locked it, so I do not get to keep touching it and moving it. All right, so I'm just going to increase the size of my spicy to 300. All right, so I've increased the size of spicy to 300. All right, so I told you before that instead of going back to text and creating a new text from scratch, you can simply just duplicate the format text that you created and then edit it to a new word. So I duplicated the text spicy and I'm going to edit it and write out jollof rice. All right, so I have my spicy and I have the jollof rice. So I'm going to place the jollof rice just below the spicy at the middle of the light beam. All right, so I'm going to the spicy, I'm going to use the font Bobby Jones Soft. Bobby Jones Soft. I'm going to try to make a list of font pairings for you. The font type of fonts you use for logos are different from the type of fonts you use for flyers. All right, for logos you have the more conventional, more fun, more artistic kind of font. And for flyers, you can just put in simple fonts that are readable by viewers, all right, so people can easily see it. Like I said, you have to consider legibility and readability. In the when I talked about in the lesson I talked about fonts, I believe I said that. All right, so back to our flyer that we're trying to create. All right. Okay. All right, so I'm back to photos, and like I said, I'm trying to create a flyer for the Alexa's kitchen. So what I want to do right now is to add a white triangle, right? Because as you see, I've just put in my text, my background, and the extra effects to the background, right? So I want to create a white rectangle to add and give it some extra layers at the top. So I'm right now setting the white rectangle, and I'm just going to find a suitable photo that I feel comfortable with, that I'm going to add to this already created background. All right, so I'm comfortable with this. All right, so now I've moved it to the top, and what I'm just going to do is to resize it and place it properly, so the points that I want. All right, so I have it set right there, so I'm just going to keep resizing and placing it to the point that I want. You can see the way it looks right now. In this type of, because you already use a photo as your background, you would also want to use a photo when you want to add a rectangle. Please do not make the mistake of using an element. It will not give you the same effect. All right. So right now I want to add in my logo. All right, some people will tend to add the logo as the last thing when they are done, but I like to put in my logo as I go, so I can have I just want to see the creation coming to life. All right, so I've placed the logo, but it seems the network is bad. All right, so I have it now. Okay, so I want to remove the background of this logo. I'm just going to click on effects. I've clicked on effects, and I'm going to add use the remove background feature. Remember that all the creations I have done are based on Canva Pro users. All right, Canva Pro users, so you have to have a paid version of Canva to enjoy this. If you do not, you can just have use the free 1 month trial and see how it is, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy using Canva Pro. It gives you the more professional look. All right, you get access to more professional features. All right, so I have removed the background of the logo, and I'm just going to place it at that top white rectangle that I have created previously. Okay, so all right, so there you have it. All right, so I could have also changed the color of this logo to suit into the color the of the background to pop in it without having to use the white rectangle. But because I did not want to change the color of the logo, that is why I had to put in that white rectangle at the top so that the color that I used before will be able to pop. But if you're having issues with that, you can just use the dual tone feature to change the color of your logo to suit into and match the color of the flyer that you're trying to create. All right, so we're back again to photos. Now I want to add the picture of the jollof rice that I'm talking about. All right, so I'm just going to search for jollof rice in plate smoking. All right, so the basic keywords that you should have when searching for jollof rice or food, you can search for food, all right, and just see a couple of options and pick anyone. But the basic keywords here are jollof rice and in plates. All right, jollof rice in plates. You can see all the different features. You will notice that not all of them have this smoking effects to them, but because there was jollof rice and plates in my keyword search, it came out looking like this. All right, so I'm not going to create the exact type of flyer I created in the first canvas that I showed you when we just started this video. I'm just going to create something different first, then I'll show you how I created that exact first one. So I want you to have two options in two different ways that you can create and use other elements and mix to do this particular type of digital flyer for a food vendor. All right, so now I've gotten my jollof rice plates that I want to use as a photo for this flyer design. So what I'm going to do is to continue to resize it and then just rotate it, because I want the plate to I want the handle of the plate to face the is it vertical now? I think the vertical section, the vertical side. I don't want it pointed down. I want it to be pointed sideways. So I just use my rotate feature and rotated it, and then I use the nudge. And I'm just going to move and resize it to make sure it is at the middle of this light beam I created before, because the essence of the light beam is to illuminate the features that I'm trying to talk about. So I told you before that the main content of your flyer is your headline, your the main parts of your flyer is your headline, the main content, the location or contacts, right? So that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to illuminate the headline and the main content. That's why I use the light beams at the middle. All right, so I placed my jollof rice at the middle of the light beam and the middle of the flyer. All right, so now I want to add a price tag. All right, so I'm just going to search for red circle tag. You can search for tag, that is also a keyword. I'll try to give you a list of keywords that you can use to search for certain type of elements, all right, in a document that I will prepare. But now for this particular tag that I want to use to put in the price for this jollof rice, I'm going to be using the red circle tag. Now these are different types of tags that have come out from my search, so I'm just going to keep searching and searching till I get a particular or the particular tag that I am looking for. All right, so I have chosen this because I am comfortable with it. Okay, so I'm just going to put it beside the jollof rice plate or pan that is right there. Then I told you before that your nudge is your computer cursor, but first let's move this image to the back. I want that tag to be behind the jollof rice pan. All right, so I don't want it to just pop up on top. You saw the way I used the position and I took it behind. This is how you can align your elements and your text. You can use the position feature and you can also use your nudge. All right, so I placed the red tag behind the jollof rice pan. I placed it behind the jollof rice pan. Now I want to write the price. All right, so the price for this rice is 2,000 naira. All right, but I'm just going to put in 2k. Okay, All right, so I'm just going to write 2K, and I'm going to place the text. I placed the text inside or within the red circle tag. All right, so it's obvious that that is the price, right? So that is the price for the jollof rice. All right, so by the side of this design, I would like to also add that this is a 25% discount off offer. This digital flyer I'm designing now is something that can just be posted on Instagram. On Instagram, right? For the followers or your customers to take instant action on. All right. So okay, all right. So I've picked out my red rectangle. I just like using the color red because red actually stands for action. So I just like using the color red a lot. And besides, the color on the logo is red and blue. So your colors that you use in your flyer design should complement, like every color should complement each other. As I taught you before in the concept of colors. So use your color wheel to pick out colors that are right for you. All right, so I'm trying to write 25%, and this, I think the network is acting up, so it's really causing some issues. All right, so I'm just going to go back. You can see me using the back key. You can see the back and forwards. All right, so I'm just going to type it again. What I want to type is 25% off. So click on edit and write 25%. You can see that all these things I've done, I did strictly with my smartphone. All right, so you can actually do your flyers or your designs with your smartphone. You do not necessarily need a computer or a laptop, but if you have one, it's also an added advantage. All right, so I have placed my 25%. All right, so I'm trying to walk around using the same font that I use. All right, so the oops. Okay, I'm just going to place it back. I'm going to place it back. Okay. All right. So I'm going to use my nudge to just put it back the way it was before, or try to put it back the way it was before. So I hope you can see the special effects that the light beam is creating. It's just illuminating this middle. This middle is just a bit more illuminated than the sides. And when you are designing, try to leave space on either sides of your flyer. You do not want to cramp everything and make all your text or your elements to hit the edge. No, there should be at least a few space, or like some space before the end of your flyer on either side, also on the top and at the bottom. All right, so I have typed in my 25% off. Okay, all right, so you can see how this digital flyer is now coming to life and it's popping up. All right, before I almost forgot, the dimension I use for this flyer is not the normal Canva dimension, normal flyer dimension, the normal Canva flyer dimension. All right, I customized this size to a 3200 by 3200 for my flyer design. All right, this will give me the highest, or one of the almost the highest resolution. This resolution is okay. So when you want to create your flyer, make sure to use the plus button and customize size to 3200 by 3200. All right, so now I've put in my order now, so I just want to add the WhatsApp icon. So like I said before, your element is basically about your search keywords, how you search for what you're looking for. All right, so I'm back in elements now, and I am searching for the WhatsApp icon. This will enable me add the WhatsApp icon to my flyer, so people know what they're expected to do. You have to add a call to action to your flyer. I said it before in my class, or in the lecture about types of flyer and what your flyer should contain. I said headline, main content, your location, or your contact info. That is how you want people to take action on whatever you have on your flyer. All right, so I've written my order now, and I'm just going to add the WhatsApp icon. So anybody that looks at this flyer knows that the next thing that you have to do to order is to send a DM on WhatsApp. No long talk, no long English. It's simple and straight to the point. Alright, so I'm resizing my WhatsApp icon, and I'm just going to place it using the alignment lines. You can see that I'm using the alignment lines. I'm going to place it to be side by side with my order now. Alright, so I'm just going to use the alignment lines to place it properly. But first I have to resize it. I don't want my WhatsApp icon to stand out and just looking bigger than every other thing in the flyer design. Alright, so I already have my main headline that is to look bigger than every other thing and stand out. So this WhatsApp icon right now is just an extra feature. Alright, so this falls under the part of location and contact info. Alright, so this is the last part of the flyer. Alright, but this is a very very vital part. Do not forget to add a call to action on your flyer. That is a CTA. Do not forget to add a CTA to your flyer. Alright, so I have put in my WhatsApp icon, and you can see that I use my nudge and the alignment lines to place it properly. So the next thing I want to do is to add the phone number to which you can call, or you can send a message on WhatsApp. All right, so right now I'm just going to type in the number, and I use the subheading feature because, like I said before, I do not want it to be too bold. All right, so just going to increase the size a bit, and then use my nudge feature to place it properly side by side with the WhatsApp icon. So you can see these lines that show when I'm moving this will show me, okay, it's fine here, it's at the same point or at the same line with the other icon. All right, so there you have it. So another thing I can do, this is not exactly at the middle. All right, so I want to align it properly. I want all this call to action right down here to be at the middle. So I'm just going to select multiple, and I'm going to group them together. Then I want to use my nudge to move them towards the right. All right, to make sure that this call to action is at the very middle of the digital flyer. Is at the middle of the digital flyer. All right, so this is how I've been able to achieve this. Okay, so you can see the way it is right now. All right, so that was how I was able to achieve this. But I think I need to edit this. I don't like the fonts here. All right, so this was the one I did before, which I will eventually show you how I created that. And it's not something so far-fetched from this. It's just a difference in image and elements. All right, so I'm going to change the font of that 25%. All right, so it was in the font Bobby Jones Soft. I'm going to change it back to a League Spartan. So I use League Spartan and Bobby Jones Soft for this flyer design. So you can see that it was too big before, it increased in size. All right, so I'm just going to reduce the size, and then make sure that the the off text is placed just below it, and I'm also going to move my red square a bit, as you can see that I have done right now. All right, oops. Okay, I finally gotten it. All right, so because I'm using my fingers and I'm using my smartphone, it might take a little bit of patience. You just have to be patient trying to tap the right thing and get it to the right size. All right, so you can see it now like this.